and welcome to a new edition of our program Women's World, and in this edition of the program we will talk about personal status law as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi gave his directives to the government to quickly submit draft laws on the Egyptian family law or personal status law to the House of Representatives within the framework of developing the legislative system related to the family and enhancing its stability. This is going to be our main topic today, and we are delighted to be joined here in the studio by Dr. Iman Bibers, Chairperson of the Association for Development and Enhancement of Women. Good morning, good afternoon, Dr. Iman.
Good afternoon.
So, Dr. Iman, as I've just said, that the President is keen to develop the personal status law. So tell us more about this.
Well, it's just common knowledge, really, that since the President, President Sisi took the presidency, he has always been in support of mothers and children and women.
Yes.
So it's very important that we talk about this personal status law. It's not about just women, it's really about mothers. And during his, in 2014, we had the best anti-harassment law. We have the best law now for the inheritance for women. We have the best law for the FGM. So it has been very clear that the political, leadership, really, the political leadership and His Excellency himself has always been supportive. And that's why all the mothers, the 360,000 mothers that we work with directly, the millions of mothers are really very happy with what the President is going to do, and they believe that he will support them because mothers are suffering in Egypt.
So what are the points of contention in this law?
To be honest, there are many problems with the law. However, we know that there has been some actions from certain people to look at four things. Number one is the placement of who's to be, when the mother marries, who's to come, like the placement, whether it should originally, and according to the Azhar, and according to the fiqh, it should be the mother of the mother, and then the mother of the father, and then the sisters, and then the aunts, and then it goes to the husband, number 16.
To the father.
To the father, sorry. However, we are accepting, so this is the contention, because now those forces, whoever they are, they want the father to be the second person. And this is a big point, because usually a mother, when she's divorced, she takes care of her child, he's young, whatever, and then she gets married. Originally and immediately, the husband or the father has already been married. So do you want the kids to go to a new to the stepmother? We don't know. There is no system to protect the children. There is no system. What we are saying is, let us follow the Shara. Let us follow our religion. And Sayyidina Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam said, Ummak, summa ummak, summa ummak, summa abuk.
Yes.
Your mother, your mother, your mother, and then your father. So we're saying, okay, we don't want the father to be number 16 like it is now, although the Azhar agrees and the fiqh agrees, but at least he will be number 4. The baby, the kids, until whatever age, have to be with, if the mother marries, they have to be with her mother first, and then his mother first. So the mother, the grandmother from the mother's side, the grandmother from the father's side, and then the father. And this is what the Shara said. We don't want anything that God did not ask us to do. So this is one of the biggest contentions.
Yes. Also, the age of custody also is a major point of contention. So what are the proposals?
Well, again, we are hoping that this has been resolved, because it has been resolved with the Christian law. However, according to the 2017 law, and according to the Azhar again, the age the age is 15 for the boys and until the girl marries. So this is how the custody age is. So the boy can stay until 15, and then he chooses to stay with his mother or his father, and then the girl until she marries. And the real issue, to be honest with you, is not that the fathers really don't see their kids, because the law is on their side. They can see their kids. Anybody who says we can't see their children are not saying the truth. But the issue is about the apartment, because the law of 1979 says that whoever has custody keeps the house apartment, because he's taking care or she's taking care of the kids.
But what if she doesn't, her kids are grown up now, she should go to the street? And
That's
this is also a big problem.
It is a terrible problem. We had campaigns, because actually, not when her kids are old, we have stories of hundreds and hundreds of women
staying in the street.
They go to the street, they marry somebody lower than them, they go and become babysitters, although they were bankers. I mean, because at the end, if you work for
it's not easy to buy an apartment, yes.
or to live
Suddenly.
if you're because, for example, most of the Egyptian women marry less than 20, 25,
Yes.
right? And then they stay until 50.
Yes.
Their kids are already grown up. They have their own homes.
And then they get divorced.
And then he leaves her to marry a younger girl.
Yes.
That's the most of the cases. And then suddenly she has no place. She has to go and live with her daughter, and her husband treats her bad. She has to be a burden on her children. Or she goes and marries anybody, or she works as a babysitter, or she sits with her brother-in-law and his wife and is treated terribly. There are so many problems with women, but what we're trying to do now is to save at least the mothers. There are millions of mothers and kids. What about the mothers of disabled children?
Disabled.
There are many mothers of kids who are disabled and handicapped, right? Do you think the stepmother will take care of them? And we have stories of that. So we're saying, guys, just we trust our president. We know he understands. We believe he understands and supports the mothers and the children. And we want Shara' Rabbina. We want what God told us to do in our religion, in our Islamic religion.
So also when we talk about expenses and this big problem that cause many crises in many houses. So how can we guarantee that the father pay money for his children?
The problem is we just finished a study we started in 2024 and we finished in 2025 with 41,000 mothers and fathers who are divorced. 93% of the fathers have different classes, do not pay for school. 93. 88% of the fathers do not pay the alimony at all. And the rest are cheating in the alimony, right? And
they give false salaries.
The false salaries from the HR, exactly. And especially that we don't have a system where you know who's making what.
Yes.
So that's another problem of contention. Because it's not just about the apartment where she stays, but also most of these poor women are working 24 hours so that they can take care of their kids.
So we hope that in the new law there will be a way for the woman to stay in her house as long as she spent 25 years with her husband. Maybe they put a certain number of years for her to guarantee that she can stay.
We just want now at least to keep the children until they're 15 and they make the choices. We want the father to be number 4. We want the visitation, which is called the joint custody, not to be done unless we have protection. At the end, you cannot give a sadafa or visitation or what is really joint custody to a man who does not pay his school fees to the kids, who does not care, who is not paying his alimony, who doesn't have a good reputation, and just give him the visitation. And then there is no law in Egypt that criminalizes the kidnapping of your child if you're a father.
So he can easily take the child and leave. And
we have hundreds of cases of kids have been kidnapped by the parents.
And maybe leave the country because you have the right to
sometimes the country,
to take him to travel.
In a village.
On the other hand, the woman can't travel without his agreement.
And the problem is we're not talking about Cairo. We have 27 governorates. We're talking about women in rural areas, in governorates.
Yes, you were telling me about low-income
the majority of the mothers we're talking about are the ones who are suffering and scared and going to the president. Because he is the father of all women, he is the father of all mothers, he is the grandfather of all these kids.
Yes.
We are urging you to protect mothers as you promised us. Because the mothers are scared,
So, in your opinion, the new law can guarantee this if we make some amendments?
Yes. The law can guarantee, first of all, once we agree on the fact that the ages stay the same, 15 and the girl until she's married, once we agree that at least he's going to be penalized and not get visitation if he's not paying his alimony, once we agree that visitation and istadafa or the joint custody has to go through a court. Joint custody in America, because they keep on saying we want to imitate America, is a court case. You go to the court and you say, I want joint custody. So there should be a social services organization which does not exist here that will go in and make sure that he's paying his alimony, that he has good reputation, that he is not drunk, that he is going to take care of them, that he has a good house, that if there is a stepmother, the stepmother is treating them well. So we're not against the visitation or the joint custody, but with these conditions.
So, Dr. Iman, as chairperson of the Association of Development and Enhancement of Women, tell us more about the activities of your association.
Well, we have been We were very young,
Yes.
but we founded the organization in 1987, and we were the first organization in the Arab world. First of all, we were very young. It took us 3 years to register because we were very different. But we were the first organization in the Arab world to provide microcredit for female heads of households. We were the organization that identified female heads of households, المرأة المعيلة. We work on the grassroots level with 2.5 million women. We worked in the 27 governorates through 186 CBOs. We don't do our own branches. Women don't do this. We don't want a branch here and there. But we work with existing small NGOs. We spearheaded and played a very important role in changing the nationality law. We have a program called Girls' Dreams. We have a program called Arab Women Speak Out, where we are training the girls and the mothers in this. We only work in squatter areas and rural areas.
The nationality law was also a problem at a certain time.
Yes. We started the campaign in 2000 and we got what we wanted in 2003 because, again...
It was your organization that was behind this move.
We spearheaded it, and and the most important thing is, again, we showed the people that these kids are Egyptians, and we should not... You know what happened? When these kids had no nationality, because the mother married her neighbor and he's Palestinian or Sudanese or whatever, or her father sold her to somebody from another country and he married her only for the summer and then he disappeared. These kids had no nationality. They couldn't go to school. They couldn't go to university. They couldn't work. Why? Because you have to pay in dollars if you're non-Egyptian, right?
Yes.
And then the father could go and marry an American, live in America. I always give an example, and then his kids would be Egyptian although they don't like Egypt. But the woman here, who is an equal citizen, I don't understand. The woman is your mother, your daughter, your sister. Why are we seen as if we're the enemy? We're not the enemy. We are reproducing the society,
Yes. So also, if we talk about the role of the National Council for Women and the role in supporting the Egyptian women, how do you see it?
I have a lot of respect for the organization. I think on the grassroots level they've been doing great work.
Yes.
I think in the past also they've been instrumental, especially in the past when for not the nationality law but the harassment law, the sexual harassment law. They played a very important role. The inheritance law, the FGM law. I think now they've been very concerned also with a lot of what's happening on the ground. I believe and I hope, and we are working closely with them so that they support the mothers in the new law, the personal status law.
So also, if we talk about the government's efforts to empower Egyptian women in general, how do you see these efforts? And as you just said, that the president was also concerned, was always concerned by issues related to women, and he has been working since taking office to empower Egyptian women. How do you see this?
I see, and with all respect to titles, Sisi's era and period is the golden period for women.
Yes, true.
No, seriously. Like we have now governors who are women. We have ministers, of course, before this. We have heads of universities. We have been respected in we have laws that support women and girls. And that's why we really hope. And again, Mr. President, we want you to protect the mothers and children. We want you to just do what God told us to do and protect mothers and children. And we have a lot of trust in the president, because this is the golden age. So again, the government has been very supportive. The political leadership has been very supportive. And it is the golden era for women. We have women in every field now, and they have proven themselves.
Yes.
They are now the percentage of women in the parliament, whether the two parliaments.
We have mayors, we have judges.
We have mayors, judges, governors, heads of universities, ambassadors, head of courts,
key positions.
Key positions, and he trusted us as women. And all these women have proven that they are very successful and they've done a great job. So,
also, the president launched many initiatives that targets Egyptian women in general and women's health. And yes, so can you tell us more about that?
For example, what happened with the health in general is great. So women and children. So for example, we have decrees and programs which cost millions of dollars or pounds that are protecting children in the schools now.
Yes.
But also the 100 million health program, the women's health program, where they go to, what's really important is that with these cars, they go to rural areas. Because we work there, we know what's happening on the ground. So maybe people don't notice that because they live somewhere else, but every governorate in Egypt in the smallest satellites. You know, satellite is smaller than a village.
Yes.
You have these cars for health for women, to take care of their women, to give them medicine, which has never happened before in our lives. You know, and for
Education of women.
and the education of women.
Teaching them skills.
Well, that's really
Yes.
a lot with the National Council for Women. They're doing a lot of teaching skills for women.
Yes.
But the health part, we have wonderful programs for the most rare diseases for women and children that the president has adopted and now is spreading. We have cars in small villages, in small streets, in satellites that you never heard of,
Yes.
where now women are being not educated about their health, but also they are being cured from a lot of diseases. So this is the golden era. Sisi's era, with a lot of respect for the titles,
Yes.
is the golden era of women. But Mr. President, support us with the personal status law. We have great hope. You promised us.
Yes. And in your opinion, how long will it take for the personal status law to get amended? Does it take a long time to achieve this?
It depends, because you know the real theoretically it shouldn't, because now it is with the Ministry of the law that will come from the Ministry of Justice, which is
Yes.
great, you know,
Yes.
because there are many very strange laws that are, you know, and it will go to the Parliament.
Yes.
I think it will not be easy, because we have a lot of maybe new generations in the Parliament that are, you know, and we
Yes.
have a lot of men in the Parliament that probably, so I think it will take time.
Needs
and
to
there
get
will be
studied more, maybe?
I think it should. I really think that they should give it time. They should not just try to, you know, because we don't want to get something that is not in favor of women, of mothers and children. And the Parliament, the House of Representatives, have a lot of nice new faces, so they need to, you know, take their time and to listen to NGOs and to listen to mothers, and even just one thing to the fathers. By the way, I have a son. I don't have a daughter. Yet I will never be there to hurt a mother. So
Yes.
please think of your daughters, think of your sisters, you know, and think of
Your
the
children.
majority of Egyptian women that we're talking about are really from disadvantaged backgrounds.
Yes, finally, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Iman Bibers, Chairperson of the Association for Development and Enhancement of Women. Thank you for being
Thank you.
here. And by that, we come to the end of today's edition of Women's World. Thank you for watching.